you to get up from the ground. I want you to bob that, back, bob that, back. Come on. That back, 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 that back. Bob that, back, bob that, back, bob that, back, bob that, back, bob that, bob that. P.O.P.E. on the tracks in the back, and I don't want you to get up from the ground. I want you to bob that, back, bob that, back. Come on. Hey, I see she coming up. I'm like, no, girl, I want you gone back. Hey, I see she coming up. I'm like, no, girl, I want you gone back. P.O.P.E. on the tracks in the back, and I don't want you to get up from the ground. I want you to bob that, back, bob that, back. Come on.